This fluffy little guy is the squirrel, and you can find them almost everywhere in the world. Whenever they find nuts, they secretly bury them in the ground as food reserves for the scarce times ahead. But here's the funny part. They forget more than half of those hiding spots. Because of this forgetfulness, those forgotten seeds get the chance to sprout and grow into tall trees. In fact, millions of new trees grow every year thanks to squirrels. Squirrels aren't just accidental forest planners. They're also clever little tricksters. If other squirrels are watching nearby, they'll pretend to bury a nut to fool them. While the curious onlooker comes over to dig it up, the sneaky squirrel quickly runs off and hides the real nut somewhere else. This fake-out tactic is pure genius in the animal kingdom. Now let's talk about their love life. Female squirrels usually come into heat only once or twice a year, and their fertile window lasts just a single day. It's a real race against time. The females release strong pheromones, and males pick up the scent of love in the air. They follow the trail and rush toward the female. Up to 12 males can end up chasing one single female. The female runs wildly, climbing trees, dashing down trunks, racing along walls and fences. This high-speed chase can last for hours, with the males following right behind her like a long, fluffy tail. When the female is finally ready, she suddenly stops and stays perfectly still. The most active male at the front immediately jumps on her and begins mating. The others push and shove aggressively, trying to knock him off and take their turn. So the male has to finish as fast as possible. Because of this chaotic, high-speed mating with all the pushing and pulling, the male's hardware often gets damaged. Squirrels actually have a bone in their penis, and it frequently breaks during the frenzy. Luckily, by the time the next mating season arrives, the bone has usually healed. Meanwhile, the female tries to mate with as many males as she can. Sometimes I wonder what all the fighting was for, when almost everyone ends up getting a chance anyway. After mating, the female returns to her nest or builds a new one. About 6 weeks later, she gives birth to around 4 tiny blind babies. The pups open their eyes after 4 weeks and stay with their mom for another 10 weeks or so. Then they head out on their own. And from the following year, the whole exciting cycle begins again. Next up is this stylish little bird in a bright blue suit, the blue manakin. These birds live in the tropical forests of Central and South America. They mostly eat fruit, and their droppings play a vital role in regenerating the forest. There are about 55 different species of manakins in total. The males are brilliantly colored and eye-catching, while the females are usually a dull green. So the males have to impress the ladies with their vibrant plumage, beautiful songs, and impressive dance moves. These guys are incredible dancers. When the rainy season arrives and the trees are loaded with fruit, it signals the start of mating season. Different manakin species have their own signature courtship dances. Red-capped manakins are famous for their smooth moonwalk. Wire-tailed manakins perform side-by-side hopping dances. Long-tailed manakins do synchronized group performances. White-bearded manakins create ultra-fast wing snaps that sound like electric sparks. And club-winged manakins produce siren-like sounds, not with their throats, but by vibrating their specially adapted wings. Blue manakins use a cooperative lek system. Many males gather together and take turns showing off their flying and spinning moves. However, it's usually the dominant male who gets the chance to mate. If a female is impressed by the performance, she gives a clear acceptance signal. The male quickly climbs onto her back and they mate. The whole act is super brief, just a quick butt kiss that lasts only a few seconds. After mating, the males move on to find another female, while the female may mate with a few more males before she starts building her nest alone. Males don't help with parenting. That's the nature of the lek system. She builds a small cup-shaped nest on a tree branch and lays 2 eggs within a week. The eggs hatch in about 3 weeks, and the chicks leave the nest 3 weeks after hatching. The mother stays with them a little longer to teach them how to find food. Then she heads off again to find another male, mate, build a new nest, and raise another batch of chicks. When the young birds turn 1 year old, they begin practicing those complicated dance moves. It can take several more years to master them. For blue manakins, young males start as interns in the group, gaining experience. This unpaid internship can sometimes last over a decade. Only when the dominant male dies or leaves does the most active young male take over. Because of this, Many male manakins never get to mate in their lifetime. And when they finally become dominant, the cycle continues. This walking shark really can walk on land. It belongs to the carpet shark group and is one of the smallest sharks in the world. Walking sharks evolved only about 9 million years ago. They grow to around 2 feet 60 centimeters long and feed on small fish, crustaceans, and tiny octopuses. You'll mostly find them along coastlines and in mangrove forests around Australia and New Guinea. When the tide rises, they often get carried into tide pools. But when those pools start to dry up, they have to find a new water source to survive. So they crawl out and literally walk across the land using their fins. On land, they slow their heart rate and metabolism dramatically. They can survive up to 3 hours without breathing oxygen. Their mating behavior is just as unusual. During the warm summer months, mature females enter heat and release pheromones. Males have an incredible sense of smell and can detect the signals from far away. They follow the scent and approach the female. The male gently bites her to see if she's interested. If she's not, she simply walks away. If she is, she stops and gets into position. The male then bites her fins lightly for balance, wraps his body around hers, and aligns his clasper with her cloaca to mate. The process lasts a few minutes. Afterward, the male goes looking for another female. The female also mates with multiple males and can store sperm for later use. About 3 weeks later, she lays 2 eggs. Yes, these sharks are egg layers, not live bearers. Even more amazing is how little energy their reproduction requires. While reproduction is usually one of the most energy-draining activities for animals, recent studies show these walking sharks spend almost no extra energy when laying eggs, making it possibly the most efficient reproduction in the animal kingdom. Even without a mate, females can still lay fertile eggs through parthenogenesis. In most animals, this usually produces only females, but walking sharks can sometimes produce males this way too. Their eggs look like small leather pouches with long, thread-like tendrils that help anchor them to reefs or stable structures. The embryo grows inside, feeding on the yolk for about 3 months. When the baby shark reaches around 6 inches, 15 centimeters, it breaks out of the egg case, fully independent from day one. They reach maturity around 7 years old, and then the fascinating cycle continues. And finally, this flying teddy bear is Dawson's burrowing bee. They live in the clay pans of Western Australia and are among the largest bees on Earth. But they don't serve a queen and they don't make honey. They are solitary bees. Even so, they build their nests close to each other. In dry areas, you can find thousands of volcano-shaped dirt mounds. But during most of the year, it looks like a ghost town with almost no bees in sight. When mating season arrives, everything changes. The smaller minor males emerge first and fly into nearby vegetation to wait near flowers. Since they're small, they can't compete with the big males, so they wait there. Sadly, most of them die without ever mating. When the large major males emerge a few days before the females, the quiet city turns into a battlefield. They patrol the ground, strong, and almost the same size as the females. They can even hear the sound of females crawling out of their burrows. As soon as a male hears one emerging, he dives down, pulls her out, and tries to mate immediately. But he's rarely alone. Nearby males rush in too, and a wild fight breaks out. They grapple, bite, and wrestle, forming a chaotic mating ball. Sometimes they pull the female from all directions. Many females lose legs or even their heads in the struggle. If the female dies, the males quickly search for another. If she survives, the strongest major male mates with her. Female Dawson's burrowing bees mate only once in their lifetime. After mating, she releases a pheromone that tells the males she's no longer available, and they all leave to find the next female. The entire mating season lasts about a month, and all the males die during this period, even those who never got a chance. The female then digs a new burrow that looks a bit like a bunch of grapes. A main tunnel connected to several spherical brood chambers. She coats the inside of each chamber with her own wax, fills it with nectar and pollen, and lays 1 egg in each. She usually lays 7 to 10 eggs but only fertilizes about half of them. Then she seals the entrance and dies shortly after. The eggs hatch into larvae after a few days. The larvae eat all the stored food, and then sleep for about 11 months before turning into adults. Fertilized eggs become females. Among the unfertilized ones, well-fed larvae develop into major males, while malnourished ones become minor males. The minor males emerge first and break open the sealed entrance. About 10 days later, the major males come out and start patrolling. A couple of days after that, the females finally emerge. And just like that, the dramatic and brutal cycle continues year after year. And as always, I love you guys.